Hello students, welcome once again. So today, almost the last day before the advanced paper. So few quick tips before we move ahead with the question. The tips are, see, when you are entering the examination hall, okay, keep yourself cool and calm. Select the questions which you can easily solve. Don't waste questions on trying each and every question, bacho. And moreover, see, I will suggest you all not to take any pressure, the burden of your expectation, the expectation of your teachers, the expectation of your parents, nothing at all. Go to the examination hall with cool and calm mind, take the examination, write the examination again with a complete cool and calm mind. That then only you will be able to give your the best, bacho. Okay, and one last thing, try to that's what, see, I am telling to my students here also, try to enjoy the paper. Okay, because normally you all know that advanced paper is an entirely new original questions are there. That's the original paper. So enjoy that paper when you are solving a question. Okay, so I mean you should feel that you are solving entirely new question. Okay, so if you can solve it, that will be really a good thing and a great appreciation for you all. So with all the best wishes, and now see the last thing that today I'm just going to discuss few questions, like 4 or 5 questions here, not more than that. The purpose of this video is like today is just the last day before your D-Day, the examination day. So the purpose is just go through this video, okay, and read the question which I am going to discuss, and then again, as I said, okay, you may really find, okay, there was something new in it. Okay, so to keep you people mentally alert, okay, and maintain the flow, with which I always say that go to the examination hall with the momentum of solving the questions. Okay, so if there are so many students who might have got like bored solving the PYQs, or they have already finished PYQ, so the last moment. So these quick 4 or 5 questions here which I am going to discuss. So the first question is, limit as n approaches infinity, summation of r goes from 1 to n, and that's it. Okay, so it's a huge big expression. Now the first thing, see, looking at it, see, that's how I approached. I mean, the first thing I did was simplifying without thinking anything this term, tan inverse of 2r plus 1 upon 1 plus r square plus r whole square. Okay, using the result tan inverse A minus tan inverse B. So how? So see, tan inverse A minus tan inverse B, how much is it? Tan inverse of A minus B upon 1 plus A into B. So 1 you already have. I will take R common from here. So that's it. Now see, it's clear that if this is A, then this is B, and the difference of these two is nothing but 2r plus 1. Rest remains same. So I will write it as limit as n approaches infinity, summation r goes from 1 to n r square, and then it is, shall I write directly with you, r plus 1 whole square minus tan inverse of r square, and then it is plus 2r plus 1 tan inverse of r plus 1 whole square, and divided by r square into r square plus 1 whole square, and then tan inverse r square into tan inverse of r plus 1 whole square, whatever. Okay, now see, do we have a choice? I mean, when I was trying to solve this question, I saw that I don't have a choice. These are similar terms, tan inverse of r plus 1 whole square, so I brought them together. So again, see, sometimes you have to go for simplification of the expression. So here, if you ask me, so I didn't think to the extent that whether if I collect the terms, will I be able to convert it to the difference. See, we all know that whenever we are trying to solve such a series, I mean such a series for n like infinite terms or maybe n terms, then if you can't find any standard method to solve it, then the method is just simply like to convert this general term as a difference of most preferably the difference of 2 consecutive terms. Okay, so that's what we are heading to. So if I bring these 2 terms together, so you have tan inverse of r plus 1 whole square, okay, into r square, and now see, then I found, okay, this is going to be extremely helpful. Now why so? So now if I write it here, rather if I will just erase it. So if I write here r square r plus 1 whole square tan inverse of r square, tan into tan inverse of r plus 1 whole square, and that's it, minus the same thing, r square tan inverse of r square into r plus 1 whole square into tan inverse, and now you people got it, isn't that bachcho? Okay, so the terms which get, because this is nothing but r plus 1 whole square, so this is gone, this is gone, this is gone, this is gone, so now you are left with limit n tends to infinity, summation r goes from 1 to n, 1 upon r square tan inverse of r square, and then its next term, the consecutive term, the succeeding term, r plus 1 whole square, because here these terms will get cancelled, okay, into tan inverse of r plus 1 whole square. Now we know what to do. Go on putting the values for r is equal to 1, 2, the consecutive terms will get cancelled, you will be left with first term, I mean one term in the beginning, that will be the first term, and then for r is equal to n, the last term with negative sign at the end, okay, and then you apply the limit, we will get the answer. So that's the first question. Now likewise there is one more interesting question here, and that again of series, okay, that's again of series, but again, see, it's again a different one. Why? Because we have 2 raised to the power n. So I was solving with one of my students here, and then he suggested that why not, see, since we have n square plus 4, and rather n raised to 4 plus 4, and we have n raised to 4 terms, so why not to start with this, at least we will get free from this n raised to 4 plus 4 in at least one term in the denominator. So we know how to solve it. This is infinite GP with common ratio half, first term as half, we are very clear, but then the problem was, it's okay, there is no limit, I mean we can write it directly, summation r goes from rather n, okay, so 2 to infinity. Now what are we left with? 3n square plus 10n plus 6 upon 2 raised to the power n raised to 4 plus 4. Now see, again, without having two factors here, I can see in my mind, I always had that thing in my mind that I have to break it, I will try to break it as a difference of two terms. Now again for that, okay, what we need is at least two algebraic factors in the denominator, because if one term is r plus 1 term or r term, then another term has to be r plus 1 or r term, okay, so that's it, so that's the idea. So what can we do here? So what I observed here, it can be converted to a perfect square by adding and subtracting 4n square. Okay, now I can write it as n square plus 2 whole square minus 2n whole square, a square minus b square identity. So this is, I will write it directly. So 1 upon this, so this is nothing but half, 1, okay, plus n goes from 2 to infinity. Now this is 3n square plus 10n plus 6 over 2 raised to the power n square plus 2 whole square minus 2n whole square, isn't that? So what can we write for this, bachcho? So this is, so whatever you have in numerator remains as it is. Now in denominator you have 2 raised to the power n, a square minus b square, n square plus 2n plus 2 minus 2n plus 2. That's it. Okay, now in the numerator we had 3 raised, one more thing. Now see again, this I wrote as, I mean when I was solving this question, as I said, I was solving for one of my friends along with him. Now then I observed that these are not consecutive terms. There is a gap of one term, n plus 1 term, then this has to be n minus 1 term, so that means there has to be gap of one term in between. Okay, so keeping that thing in mind, I need to break 2 raised power n also. So that means if one is 2 raised power n, another one has to be 2 raised power n minus 2, or if one is 2 raised power n minus 1, another one has to be 2 raised power n plus 1, whatever. Now, see, one thing I tried randomly. Since I need 3n square, so I wrote 4 times n square plus 2n plus 2. And then minus n square minus 2n plus 2. Why? See, again, I said that was my observation, 3n square. So 4 minus 1 is 3, and that's it. The rest got settled automatically. 8 plus 2 is 10, 8 minus 2 is 6, we are done. Okay, so now if you rewrite it, so you get summation 1 upon 2 raised to the power n minus 2. This and this term get cancelled, and this is n minus 1 whole square plus 1. Fine, bachcho. minus 1 upon 2 raised to the power n into n plus 1 whole square plus 1, and that's it. Okay, so a gap of one term. I mean, these are not two consecutive terms. If this is r at term, this is r plus 2 at term. If this is n minus 1 at term, this is n plus 1 at term. Okay, so that's it. Again, you people can easily proceed and get the answer here. So that was it. And now see, this was again an interesting question here. More like a question of Olympiad, I mean that temperament. But see, they had been asking such type of question. I mean the previous Olympiad, not directly the Olympiad question, but those which are relevant with IIT JEE content, the course here, they had been asking it. Okay, so when I tried to solve this question, we had that feeling it's more like a Olympiad. But see, the way I solved, I think I will say 2 raised power 17 is equal to t. The observation is this is 17 square. 289 is nothing but 17 square. So this is t raised to the power 17 plus 1 upon t plus 1. Okay, now for that I wrote t plus 1 into t raised power 16 minus t raised power 15 plus t raised power 14 minus t raised power 13 and so on minus t plus 1, that's it, upon t plus 1, that gets cancelled. Okay, now the question is, there exists a unique strictly increasing sequence of non-negative integers a1, a2, a3, ap. Non-negative integers, they are all in increasing order. A1 is the smallest one till AP. Okay, such that we can express this as a series of 2 raised power A1 plus 2 raised power A2 and so on and so on. Then what we need is P minus 130. What is P? P means the number of terms in this sequence, AP. So the last term is the Pth term. Okay, so what we need here is the number of terms. Okay, but again, see, sometimes, I mean, when I was trying to solve it, I didn't have this number of terms in my mind. I always had how to get this series. Okay. Then I realized, I mean, here, I was just trying to simplify it. T raised power 15 common, it's t minus 1. T raised power 13 common, again it's t minus 1. T raised power 11 common, again it's t minus 1. And so on, it's t common, and again it's t minus 1 plus 1. T squared minus t, the last term. Okay, and the last one is 1, which will be left as it is. Okay, now t raised power 15. So t minus 1 is what? T minus 1 is nothing but 2 raised power 17 minus 1. That's common. And this is 2 raised power 17 raised power 15 plus 2 raised power 17 raised power 13 plus 2 raised power 17 raised power 11. 2 raised power 17 raised power 1, and that's it. And there's one extra term 1. See again. We are quite close to it. These are all the terms which are expressed in terms of power of 2. But what about this one? Okay, now at last we wrote it as a GP. If I divide it by 2 minus 1. Okay, so r raised power n minus 1 upon r minus 1, where the first term has to be 1. So start with 1 plus 2 square, and 17 term GP, that is 2 raised power 16. This plus 1. So now if you express it as the power of 2, how many terms you have? You have 17 terms here, you have 8 terms here, and this is 17 into 8 is 120, 136. So this is 136 plus 1, so total number of terms are 137, and that's the value of P. Okay, so that was quite a different question with quite a different approach. So that's why I just thought to share it at the last. You may just enjoy this question, okay? And then I think this is the, this is just fourth question. I don't know fifth one is it. Consider Q a point chosen at random inside the square region 0, 1 and 0, 1. So this is point 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, and that's it. Okay. Now, let P be a fixed point, P, Q belonging to this set, I mean inside this square region. Let probability of phi be the probability that slope of the line through P and Q is greater than equal to tan of phi. Okay. So probability of that angle greater than equal to tan phi for P is equal to 5 by 8, 3 by 8. So 5 by 8, 3 by 8, if I add them, it gives us 1. So that means it lies on this line, x plus y is equal to 1, the diagonal of the square. So let's say that's the point. 5 by 8, x is more than y, 3 by 8, okay. Then value, it should be value. Value of P tan inverse of half. So P of 5. Okay, and angle is tan inverse of half. I mean the slope. The slope is tan half. Okay. Slope is half, sorry. Okay. Wait. The slope of the line through P and Q. Consider a point Q chosen at random. Okay, fixed point, P point is a fixed point and the slope has to be greater than or equal to half. So if I just draw a line passing through it and with a slope half, let me try that. So y minus 3 by 8 is equal to half times x minus 5 by 8. So see, slope has to be greater than half. Slope has to be greater than half means it will get more and more vertical parallel to the, it will try to get more and more vertical and parallel to the y-axis. Okay, but it shouldn't get like cross the y-axis. I mean, shouldn't get inclined or with the y-axis on this left y, because in that case the slope will get negative. Okay, so it's greater than half means it has to be positive. Okay, let's see where does it intersect the x-axis and the y-axis. So, at x is equal to 0, y is equal to minus 5 by 16 plus 3 by 8, so which is 1 by 16. Okay, that means x has to be negative, minus 3 by 4 plus 5 by 8, oh yes. Okay, so that it won't look like this. Sorry. Wait, bachcho. So it will look something like this. This point is 0, 1 by 8. Okay, so that's the line. I mean, doesn't seem like a line, but okay. Now, where can we Q? Where can it be? See, that's the reason. So start rotating your line like this. Okay, so it can be anywhere in this region. I think all of you will agree. Okay, it can be anything in this region, the region above this line, in this region, bachcho. Okay, so if I get this point which is at x is equal to 1, if I put x is equal to 1 here, then y is equal to 3 by 8, 1 minus 5 by 8 is okay, 1 minus 5 by 3 by 8, so it's half. So this is 1 comma half. Okay. So the region above it, because if the point like this, so it will get negative. Fair enough. So Q can lie anywhere here, or Q can lie anywhere here. Isn't that? So either Q is, so let me show you, if Q is here, then also you have slope which is greater than this. If Q is here, then also you have a slope greater than this. Okay, so now what you have to do? The probability is, see, the area of this entire square is 1. So Q, the sample space, consists of the region whose area is 1. Okay, so Q can be anywhere in terms of sample space of in the region of area 1. You have to just find area of this region, and this is quite simple because I will be using I'll be using here the area of trapezium, which is 3 by 8 plus 1 by 8 is half into sum of parallel side into the height, so which is 5 by 8. So half into 3 by 8 plus 1 by 4, so it's 5 by 32 if I'm not wrong, plus area of this region. Again, so it's 1 minus 3 by 8 is 5 by 8 here. Okay, so again it's what? Trapezium, I'm sorry. So 5 by 8 plus half into 1. So plus half times 5 by 8 plus half. So half is 4, 9 by 8 into 1. So 9 by 16 plus 5 by 32 is like 23 by 32 बच्चों. Okay, so now the area should be, okay, that's the answer because you have to divide it only by 1 here, the area of the square. So I think that should be the answer, 23 by 32. If there's any doubt to anyone, let me know. I mean, if there's any calculation error or if I would have missed any case here, you can help. You can tell me with the help of comment box. But this is how I will approach this question, and this is how I approached this question when I got this question as a doubt. Answer I really don't remember. There might be some calculation error, or I might have missed. I don't think I have missed any case though. Okay, but in any case, that's the approach. Okay, so I'm done from my side with all the best wishes, with all the best wishes to all of you, bacho. Okay, may God bless you all. May you have a very good day. Enjoy tomorrow's day, the day of your advanced paper, and then after that relax. Achha, one last thing I will tell you all, request you all, suggest you all, is please don't waste your time after the advanced paper. You might not be having so many more papers, maybe 1 or 2 more will be left, but I think advanced would be the most important and last most important paper. Okay, you will get relaxed, but don't waste your time on mobile or social media or laptop or desktop. Okay, go for some outdoor games, sleep, spend time with your parents, with your grandparents. That will be something which you will cherish, remember throughout your life, bacho. Okay, so before going to the college, spend as much time as you can with your parents, with your grandparents. Stay away from social media. With all the best wishes, bacho. May God bless you all.